Welcome. My name is G. You're watching Allastrology. We have one ending and two new beginnings. So we're going to talk about the astrology for that for you. And then we're going to pull a card for each event. Okay. So we're going to start off right at the beginning. December 7th is a full moon. Full moon energies represent a release and an ending, a closure, and a completion. Okay. This is a full moon in Gemini. So there's something here about a communication, information, the way I talk, the way I relate, whether it can be neighbors and siblings, social media, news outlets, right? Digital platforms that you do this at, that you go there and you're doing this. Aries energy, you are having this full moon release in your third house. So this tells me like very possibly a coworker energy, very possibly sibling energy, but even more so, possibly were you working online? Do you have digital neighbors that you just have constant communications with? This would be big for Aries because you've got like Gemini in your third house. It's very strong here. It rules the third house. So if you want more details, all you got to do is look in your chart to see where Mercury is at, because Mercury rules Gemini. Right. And then that tells you what it is you're letting go and releasing, right? So this can be very different for a lot of us. So we're going to pull a card to find out more details as to what that can be. But in general, it can simply be a cycle, right? See, Mercury is the writer, right? So were you writing something, a report, some sort? I know a friend who was, I think, created or wrote out, I'm not sure how that works, like a video game, I think he said. So maybe that process is done. Maybe he's completed his creation. So Mercury being the writer is also someone who writes a book, right? So something you possibly have been working on, you are finishing. Okay. Now this can be ending communications or no longer going at this certain website or something like that, or certain platforms. I know there's a lot of crazy things going on with digital platforms right now and different social sites, but it's a closure and an ending and a completion. So let's mix this up and find out. When we think about people in our lives, like if it's not digital, it can be coworker energy and sibling. I think I said that already. Classmates. It could be next door neighbors, like people who literally live right over the fence line there. It could be like a housemate, even a flatmate. It could be that. Somebody who is a peer, P-E-E-R, right? Somebody that you consider a friend. It's an exchange, right? Somebody who's around you all the time, who's kind of part of the daily routines. And if it's a release and a let go, you want to pay attention to the degree. So it's 16 degrees in Gemini. So we'll do an orb 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Do you have something there, right? Is it on your cusp line of your third house? Do you have a planet at 16 degrees? If you do, comment to me. I can give you more information as to, what else this could mean for you, because that definitely will change the tone of it. It could, could be anything. You just got to let me know what you got there. And if you don't have anything, then I wouldn't be too concerned. It's just something that's ending and releasing. It could simply be your thoughts, the way you communicate, right? The ways that you communicate. There might be something you're changing in the way that you speak, your mannerisms, right? Are you a public speaker? Like Gemini energy in the third house, very strong there. Talking is important. Exchanging information, debating, right, is going to be really, really, really important. So we're at the time where it's time to cut the deck for you. And we're cutting it. And they're saying to cut it again. I'm sorry. I didn't show it to you. I'm sorry. I don't pay attention. I'm busy looking at, can I get my hand on the card to actually get the card up? Are you ready? Here is your card for your Gemini release, full moon, a let go. So this is Pisces and this is Sagittarius. And that energy right off the bat can be something about fantasy and sci-fi for sure, because it's Pisces, which is very creative, but possibly some exaggerations, right? And it can be something that's hidden. This person here in the picture is kind of using the cloth, whether that's an incense, but the wardrobe that she's got on, I forget what that's called, but kind of wrapping it around the smoke and trying to take it in, or possibly not wanting someone to see what they're doing. If I'm not mistaken, the face on this person, they don't look very happy. So possibly releasing some sorrow, which in when we talk about Pisces and Jupiter, it's exaggerations, but there can be Pisces energy kind of sees itself as being the one that sacrifices, like the savior. Like, well, nobody else will do it. I got to do it. So they kind of get a complex. I forget what it's called, the savior complex. And so they end up sometimes feeling sorry for themselves. Okay. This card doesn't really look like that, but there is something about smells, right? Something about ritual, even here. So it could be spiritual for you. Spiritual and religious beliefs are tied into this, but it can be totally all about fantasy and make believe too, because this is a very, very creative energy. So there's could be somebody who's using herbs, like in a meditative way, possibly something from the past, because this does have a lot of past life or soul memory and soul history attached to it. So possibly some of this stuff from the past that you're releasing, and this could be acquaintances that you're connected to on a soul level. This is a really interesting card. I would love to hear feedback from anybody watching this video. Let me know what you think this means for you. Jupiter energy. So I know Jupiter in Pisces is understanding, it's unity, it's oneness, it's compassion, it's forgiveness. So maybe releasing the rose-colored glasses. It could be that too. We go to December 19th. That's your next thing, and it's a beginning. But I want you to think back. Think back to June of 2022. We had Jupiter entering in the sign of Aries. Your sign. Jupiter is coming back. Yes, it's been in Pisces. It's been in Pisces for all of October and November. So December 19th, Jupiter goes back, or I should say it goes forward into Aries again. Now, the last time Jupiter was in Aries, what happened? Think about that in your life. What happened in June? Did you begin a new thing? Yeah. Did you begin something new? It would have been something, it would have been about your physical body because you're Aries ascendant, right? So as Jupiter goes there, you might become more physically active. You might have found that you were more impulsive. You might have found that you were being partaking in more physical challenging projects, working out, there might be some of that happens for you. And so there might be you going back to starting that sort of thing back up again or adding to, because it's Jupiter and Aries. Jupiter adds to things. So whatever you were doing, it's almost like you're maybe going to the next level and increasing it, right? It's the physical body, it's your appearance. So something happened when it left Aries energy, which is fine because it went into Pisces. But it goes back into Aries. So this time it's like, what else can I do? What else can I change? Now, for some folks, this could be like a weight gain, especially if they don't, because it's Jupiter and Jupiter adds to things. But if it's in Aries, to me, it says it adds to its action of its body. It becomes more physical. So I don't see it doing that, but it is a change in the appearance. And this Jupiter will stay here until May of 2023. So let's pull you a card so we can find out what else we can get for you, what more details we can have. We'll shuffle these up again. So this is Aries energy, and we want a card to give us more details with the Jupiter entering back into Aries. What else are you starting, or what are you adding to? What additional thing are you going to pull in? And it's got something to do with your appearance and your physical body. Is it your clothing? Is it how you look? Is it your hair? Right? Remember, it adds to things. So yeah, who knows? Maybe you're just going out and buying more clothing. It could be as simple as that. 0 degrees of Aries is where this occurs. Do you have something near 0 degrees of Aries, a 2-degree orb? If you do, this would be a bigger deal. I can tell you that much. All right. They're saying pick the card right off the top. Will do. Card number 1, Aries, makes sense right off the top. Let's go. Okay, this is work. This is responsibilities. This is duties. That's what this card represents. This is the Saturn card. This is not a bad card. It might not look all that wonderful, but there's the Leo crown in the back, the king, which is you're being seen. You're being acknowledged and recognized. This is the energy of Saturn, so it says time. It says you must put in your time. The thing about Aries, when Jupiter goes into Aries, I'm glad this card came up because I didn't mention it. The caution is that when Jupiter goes and touches that energy, the Arian energy is very fiery and it likes to move fast. It wants to be first. So when Jupiter goes there, it can be really impatient. And there's a caution because, and you're blessed with this card, by the way, this card brings you the caution. That's what the finger in the air is like. Wait a minute, hold up a second here. This is the teacher. It says don't be, you're about to go jump into that. You didn't even pay attention. Go look at the details of that contract or reread something or make sure you're certain, for the length of time that's involved. Jupiter in Aries is leaping before looking. And that's not what you want to do. You want to look before you leap, right? You want to know exactly where you're leaping into or where you're walking into. So this card of caution and go slow is actually a huge, huge benefit. Because what happens when Jupiter goes into Aries, people get injured. They have a tendency to get injured, not because magically they got hurt, but because they were careless, because they were moving so fast. So be careful. That's what this card says. Just to be cautious, just to slow down and breathe and to put in the work, duties and responsibilities, and you will be rewarded. Saturn promises rewards in the long term. Remember the word long term. There are no short term rewards. It's about the long term. All right, Aries, here we go. We're going on to the last event. There's a new moon at the end of December. It's right before Christmas, December 23rd. Okay. So I think you're going to like this because it's a new moon in Capricorn. Okay. The only thing is that Capricorn, it is the card you just got, Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. So what I like is that it might feel like some stress and some tension. So you might be doing a lot of work. You might be working hard, right? You might be overworking, right? Just remember what Saturn said, to slow down, take a breath, do things strategically. Being organized will get you very far, right? Methodical and organizing. It'll help all the scattered brainness that happens sometimes for some of us when we try to do too many things at once. It's possible. So a new moon in Capricorn is all about new goals, new ambitions, goals and ambitions that will help me achieve my long-term financial security, long-term financial stability. And it's tangible stuff, right? So let's look at the astrology and find out where this happens in your life. Look at this. You got the new moon in your 10th house. How awesome is that for you? Oh my God, that's great. That's career. That's ambition. This is really powerful. Capricorn in the place of Capricorn, possibly being awarded and rewarded and recognized for good work done. Woohoo. But because it's new, it's like a new endeavor. It's like a new goal. It's like a new ambition, possibly a vocation, but something that says new responsibilities, new duties even. Okay. And for some of you, if you're working really hard, it might feel like a bit of a burden, okay? But it's new. So because it's a new moon, you get to choose, all right? You choose. Now, I will say this is a big deal because it's on the world axis point. It's near the 0 degrees mark. It's in Capricorn. It's December 23rd. It's 1:32, 1 degrees and 32 minutes in the sign of Capricorn, all right? So that means it's business and government, something big, a new beginning. And the time is 4:16 a.m. The time matters because if you believe that you are a creator of your own life, if you believe that you were endowed with free will, you can create. And using new moons strategically like this is your way of being the creator of your own life, right? You were given that power. You were given the power. I'm trying to share the knowledge so that you understand the knowledge, so that you understand the power you truly have, right? Not that you don't know this, but there's cycles and timing and dates and degrees. And when we kind of get to that, when we kind of wrap our mind around that in a way where we can look at a calendar and start planning, well, it becomes pretty smart then. It becomes rational and logical. well, this is a good time to do this. This isn't a good time to go swimming. It's 32 degrees out, right? No. And that's all it is. It's understanding the cycles and the timing of those cycles and the duration of those cycles, right? If you have something near the 0 degrees mark, right? If you have something at 132, so we're going to talk like 0 degrees all the way up to 4 degrees of Capricorn, all the way up to 4 degrees of Capricorn. And so going backwards, that means that would include like the galactic center, which is like 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Ooh, this could be a really big deal for some folks that I know, actually. Wow. So, goals and ambitions, setting those goals, taking action, possibly traveling, being involved with this. Now that I realize the galactic center, for some people I'm thinking of in my head, this could be that deal. This could be part of that for them. Could include travel plans. But remember, business and government is part of this, and that's huge here because it's near the 0 degrees point. So it's a global thing is what it means, something happening. So we got to kind of honor those things before we make plans. Keep that in mind before you make plans. It's something big. Now, if you've got a chart and you're not sure, if you're confused, even if you don't have a chart and you're confused, get your digits to me. Comment below. Like, that's all you got to do is comment to me below to get me your digits, and I can tell you more details. Okay. So, you know what cats mean, right? Pets, domestic pets. Doesn't have to be just a cat, but a domestic pet in general. I'm just saying it because the cat walked into the room. And for some of you out there, this really may make sense for you. Hi. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe some people might have travel plans and they have a pet, right? The kitty cat's like, don't forget about us. Make sure you make a plan that includes us and that it's good for us too, right? All right. So they're saying to just go ahead and cut the deck already. And then this time to just take that card, make it simple for you, Aries, number 1, right? And show you the card. So remember, this is your December new beginning. Cha! Look at that. It's a domestic card. It's a marriage. It's a wedding. And it's including children. Holy smokes. Wow. When we talk about long-term financial security, yeah, some folks get married to establish that or to sustain it, right? To create more of it, to add to it. Fascinating card. And the Leo represents the children, because when we get married, we can have children, right? Even if you're not having your own children, perhaps somebody's getting married to someone who's already got children, because that's exactly what this says. They're married, but yet there's little kids running around. How is that possible? How is it possible that there's children already? Because possibly it's a second or third marriage. Either way, people are coming to this and they could have children involved. Now, I realize that these can simply be like little ones who are in the wedding, but Leo's on the card. The sun and the Leo energy is there. So children is somehow part of this. And that could be creative endeavors. When we talk about children, there could be a shared creative endeavor, an investment, a creative investment. Could be that too, because it's partnerships, and business partnerships are all part of marriages. Business partnerships are marriages, right? And vice versa. This is a cool card for you. This is supportive, by the way. This is supportive. These sextile each other. These are like, together we can make this happen. This is good energy. This is Venus and the sun. Amazing. Masculine and feminine energy, creative energy steps forward. Something about receiving. This is good. This is a union. Congratulations for some of you out there. Happy holidays. Bye-bye. So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.